People of 7 here, otherwise known as purple. That's messed up. People of the Purple Butterfly here, otherwise known as People of 7 on Twitter and YouTube. People are elsewhere on the internet. My blog is located at purplebutterfly-people.blogspot.com, and my soaps, Purple Butterfly Soaps, can be located at people.etsy.com. And I'm here to cut the chocolate spinning swirl. I've already used a tap knife to make 2 preliminary cuts because of the size of it. I'm going to cut it with the Sharon cutter. They're going to be 1 inch wide. They're already 3 and they're going to be 1 inch thick. They're already 3.5 inches wide, and the whole bar is over 2 inches tall. So basically it's going to be the size of a standard bar soap, which is going to give me a lot of slices I can share. It's testing at 7.5 to 8, which puts it right in the perfect zone. And the little issue was having that looked like ash turned out to be stearic acid. And that's fine because stearic is harmless. In fact, if nothing else, it'll make the bar soap even harder. So I'm going to put this up. And then we're going to cut this. Because of the measurements, cutting it as a loaf instead of a slab, this much is left over. Since it's 1 inch thick, it's going to be bar soaps going down this way. And of course I have the part that was at the top that I sliced off, making it rows for like samples. And it just occurred to me I didn't show you what the finished soap looks like. Ta-da! Well, let's line it up for you. And you could see the spin in that. You get a good grip on it. Ta-da! Is that gorgeous or what? It's actually a little bit darker because with it being a chocolate soap and it's gone through gel and all that, chocolate does tend to get a little darker. This is the way it looks from the side. Oh, wow. It smells like a chocolate factory here. I ain't lying. And I need to find my pink cutter, which I stuck in the other storage container. Hold on. Or not. It's literally right in front of my face there. It really doesn't help if you put 2 soap molds in front of something that you actually need, because then when you go to use it, you're going, what did I do with that? What did I do with that? Hey, where did I put it? So let's get to cutting on this. Hold on. Oh, that's barely going to fit into this cutter, but it's all good. That means it's in the right size range if it's literally taking up all the space of this cutter. I want this at 1 inch, so I'm going to have to adjust this just slightly. I'm trying to think of why it was off. Then I remembered I did cut some samples with it, and the samples are smaller than the finished size of a regular bar soap. So let's take a look. first initial piece. Not much to write home about because, I'm cutting it sideways as a loaf, but still very pretty and still smells very much like chocolate because it does have actual chocolate in it. And by the time it's all said and done, those light chocolate pieces will actually get darker. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do, since that's the center, this will be the side, and then that will be the other side. I'm going to cut it in a way where it fits back into the box that the mold came from, for the simple fact that I have no more storage space, and I do not have a spare curing rack or a spare curing box. So that's how I'm going to do that. Oh, and the sample pieces that the soap roll came from, that will be cut in half. That was the part I cut off the top laterally. So it won't affect how many bars of soap is coming off of the loaf. There we go. Now, if I did this correctly, it will all still look exactly like the swirl, because I'm doing it in sequential order, and then the next one will be in the same order, so forth and so on. So people could literally pick out which one is their favorite, so forth and so on. And you'll still be able to see the design. Oh, that's nothing. You'll still be able to see the design on the top. Is that cool or what? There we go. That's this one. At least that's a theory I have going on in my head. Where a whole bunch of fun thoughts live. But when I realized this batch was actually taller than 2.5 inches, it was like, well, that'll make a regular loaf. So I stuck the, hold on, Olipa on it, which is a huge 18-inch long by 5-inch thick ruler that I used to use for quilting. And I stuck it on there to get the exact measurements, and I was actually very surprised because this mold came from a cereal box, which I can't put in because I just realized I'm using it to arch up the camera. But it was from a box of honeycomb cereal, and it made a 7-pound, very tall, very thick bar of soap. Well, actually a slab of soap. With just this much left over. So that'll be a sample, of course, once it's done curing, because this soap is cold processed and it will have to cure full time, especially since it took 3 days just for it to get hard enough to cut this much. I mean, it's still somewhat soft, but that's all good because that's what allowed it to set up and swirl the way I needed it to. But by the same token, that's also what's going to make it take longer time to cure. And the whole time it's curing, it's going to smell wonderful in this house. Just like a chocolate factory. Yep. That part's lighter. Much lighter. But see, some of this had the full dose of chocolate, and some of it was the swirl that went around the corner, and you have chocolate swirls and swirls of plain and every color in between, because there's only two ingredients for color in here. One being the cocoa powder and the other being the natural color of the soap. So you put those two together and basically you have brown and white and every shade in between. And as you could tell, the swirling pattern is going across the top. Yeah. But so far we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It's going to be 20 pieces of soap. And then however many that this part produces. So this actually made the same amount of soaps as my Lucy mode, but in a much more fun format, because it gives me the option of either cutting it as a slab, which it gives you about 15 pieces, 12 pieces, depending on how thick, or as a standard bar of soap, which is the way I'm doing it now, which gives me 21, 22, 23, 24 pieces. Well, 20 and then however many these sides make. Ooh, that one's look real cute. Ta-da. This is the point where I usually say last two, but this will be the last few. Okay. The swirling pattern is really exciting looking here. Of course, the last piece is the sample. Whee! And nothing to see here. Alrighty then. Now what I'm going to do is take this part and take one of these and measure it straight across and just cut it. And then this can go right back where it was. And that gave me 1, 2, 3, and a small piece. So that's how many I have. 23 and a small piece. That's not counting the samples over there. So let's scoot those all over. And then I'm going to stand these up the way they were and put it there. And I have that upside down. So that means I have it in reverse order as well. immediately fix that. But when I do it this way, I can see which way the swirl was going. So that way I know where to put it when I take the final picture. Ta-da! That does look amazing. Oh, it has a bent edge. That's probably where it did the leaking. So I'll just trim off that little piece. And then it'll stand up on its own. It'll be shorter, but it'll stand up on its own. And then somebody gets a nice free sample at some point in time. Anyway, this has been People7 on Twitter and YouTube, People elsewhere on the internet. My blog is located at purplebutterfly-people.blogspot.com, and my soaps, Purple Butterfly Soaps, can be located at people.etsy.com. Y'all stay blessed and stay tuned. Bye now.